So, Lisa, are you from here originally, or where are you from?
I am from the Bay Area. I grew up in San Rafael, Marin County, and was there through high school, and then spent my college years in the East Bay and moved as far down south as Santa Cruz. But I've always been in the Bay Area. I came to Livermore in 2012.
How long has Charles R. Vineyards been here?
Charles R's first commercial vintage was 2006, but the Bartlett family, Dick and Bonnie Bartlett, bought this property, I believe, in 1978, and there was nothing on it. The property is actually 100 acres. It goes all the way up to the top of the hill. And they built their home over time. In the early 2000s, they got into the wine storage business. And by 2006, they had transitioned into being a commercial winery and actually making wine of their own.
So have you ever walked up the hill?
Oh, yeah. It's
really?
actually my favorite spot on the property.
I believe that.
We do monthly hikes up there. We do some special events up there. So if you ever have the opportunity, it's one of the most unique spots in town.
When wine got its hooks into you, how did that happen?
So, like many wine people, my path was a little windy and not very direct. My first, quote, real job out of college was deputy sheriff in Santa Cruz County.
Well, of course, that's what most winemakers come from. You are a first for me, anyway.
Right.
Wow.
And it took me not too long to realize that I am not a confrontational person by nature. So the personality that would have done best in that job was not mine. And from there, I got into middle school administration and physical education. Additionally, my family owns and runs a restaurant, so over the years, up until just about 3 years ago, I had different roles at the restaurant over the course of my life. But about 17 years ago, my wife and I got really excited about wine together and wanting to learn about wine. And it just so happened I had this aha moment. My grandparents owned a vineyard up on Sonoma Mountain since the early 80s.
Really?
But they had only ever sold their grapes to other wineries. They had never made wine of their own. So when we got really interested in wine, I said, hey, I want to learn this thing. Do you think you might have some grapes? And we found a couple local wineries that were willing to sort of mentor us through the process. And then I was off on the slippery slope and graduated from UC Davis winemaking certificate program in 2012 and have worked at a number of wineries since then. And now I'm here.
But you had mentioned your wife before, and you were on this discovery together. Mm-hmm. Is she in the business? Or?
No, she was smart. She got out early.
Okay, good. Well, let's talk about Charles R. Let's talk about this name. Where did that come from?
So Charles R. is the first formal name of our Dick Bartlett. His, as Charles goes by, Charles Richard always has gone by Dick. And when they were trying to come up with a name for the winery, it just had a nice ring to it. You'd
mentioned that she has this Kubota and she rides around. Are they actively involved in the winery as well?
So Bonnie is very much. Dick passed away just a little over a year ago.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And his personality is still all over this place. But the two of them were, in many ways, still are very much a force. And Bonnie is an incredible, independent lady who really takes charge of things that need to happen around here. So when you get to talk to her, it's always a fun conversation.
Do they give you enough rope to hang yourself?
They just hand me the rope. No.
That's okay. Yeah. Okay.
They say, you're in charge of this.
Good.
You tell us what you need from us.
That's excellent.
So it's actually, it was a very steep learning curve in the beginning.
I'll bet.
And it's also been what has made it all work for all of us here over the last several years. And we've really come to understand and appreciate each other.
Well, we need to talk about the wine itself. I don't want to get too deep into this conversation without talking about what you are making here at Charles R.
We are making all sorts of stuff. So Charles R Vineyards doesn't actually have vineyards of our own. We source everything locally from here in Livermore. We have in the past sourced as far as Tracy Hills and to Sonol, but everything is very local. We specialize in Chardonnay, Cabernet Sauvignon. We do a Sauvignon Blanc. We do Zinfandel, Barbera. We do a really fun series of red blends that are all named after critters you might encounter while walking around here on the property. So our current blend is Red Fox, and the one that will be released next is Dragonfly. And the artwork on those labels is done by Bonnie, who is an artist herself.
I'm glad you don't have one called Mr. Bear or no. Mountain Lion.
Yeah, nope, they haven't made the list yet. Everything is in Livermore, and like I said, those couple vineyards that we have sourced, go as far as Sonol and Tracy are the sort of the boundaries of that. The last several years have, we're waiting to get back to normal from COVID and seeing how that all evolves. But it's very small.
I'm really not familiar with the word normal.
Exactly.
It's just not in my vocabulary.
I hear people throw it around all the time. Like, do you think this is going to be a normal growing season? And I've been doing this for almost 15 years, and I have yet to hear anyone say, that was a normal growing season.
Yeah. It's warmer down here, though, than it is, say, up on Tesla Road.
Oh, just even a couple doors down at our neighboring wineries, you're going to feel a very different climate down here. We're really protected in our little valley here, and so the heat kind of just softly bakes us all day, and and then the breeze comes through in the late afternoon, and it's a really comfortable setting.
What makes you crazy about wine?
There's always something new to learn. There's a never-ending list of places, directions you can go. There's always something for everybody. And I love food, so naturally I love wine.
You're Italian, of course. Hello.
But it really is a labor of love. And I do enjoy working hard. I enjoy physical work. And so it gets hard. Harvest is always a very challenging time, but I really enjoy being able to actually make something with my hands and get in there and do all the things.
You're young. Do you see a winery in your future, or is it just kind of taking it day by day?
Right now I'm taking it day by day. I'm not as young as you think I am. And every year I have this same conversation with myself saying, that's it, I'm done. I'm never doing this again. But every year I come back, and the relationships I've been fortunate to build here in Livermore have made it all the worthwhile.
I would love to see our listeners come down and find this little spot just because it's so cool. Very different than many other wineries. A bit hidden, but not impossible to find. Not that hard to find. Are people able to just kind of belly on up, or do they need to make an appointment? How does that work here?
We welcome walk-ins. We welcome reservations. You can find us at charlesrwinery.com. We are at 8100 Greenville Road. Get to the end of the road and keep going. We've developed some signage over the last year and a half or so it should be a little easier to find us. But we're here. We're ready to have you enjoy our wine.